The first thing I saw that morning wasn't the quiet lake or my half-built cabin. No, it was red and blue lights cutting through the fog, splashing across everything, like the 4th of July landed early. 3 police cars rolled onto the gravel, sirens echoing over the water, tearing apart the silence my grandfather always called sacred. My stomach just dropped. Right then I knew something had blown up, and if I had to bet, Brenda Harrington was behind it. She stepped out from behind the cop's hair-perfect jacket, crisp clipboard tight under her arm. The queen bee of Maplewood Estates HOA, the self-declared boss of every inch she could see from her golf cart. Brenda walked up like she was already celebrating. That smile on her face, it belonged on someone who thought they'd already won. She pointed right at me, loud enough for the pines to gossip. That's him, the squatter. He's building illegally on protected HOA land. Hammer still in my hand, I set it down slow. Didn't want to give them a reason. These days, owning your own land can make you look dangerous, apparently. One of the officers stepped forward. Tall, older, tired eyes, like a man who'd seen his share of nonsense. "Sir, I need to see your ID and any permits for this construction." I told him, "Sure, I've got them." I reached for the folder I kept on. We learned that lesson thanks to Brenda. She barely let him finish snapping. "Don't let him confuse you. Maplewood Estates owns all this lakefront. He's trespassing." He held up his hand, flipped through my papers. Deed survey, water rights, construction permit. Each page made his brow rise a little higher. Brenda just stood there with her arms crossed, watching the imaginary handcuffs go on. 3 months back, there was no drama, just me and a plan to build on the land my grandfather left behind. 20 untouched acres he bought in the 50s. No HOA, no rules, just forest and water. After years as a software engineer in the city, I just wanted a small off-grid cabin, solar panels, a deck for sunsets, a dock for fishing, quiet. Next door, though, Maplewood Estates sprawled out with its perfect lawns, golf carts, and folks who treated rules like gospel. Trouble started on day 2. I was marking out my foundation when Brenda's golf cart came flying down the dirt path. She jumped out before it even stopped. "What do you think you're doing?" she demanded. "Building a cabin? On my land," she laughed. "This is HOA property. You can't build here without board approval." I told her she was wrong. She told me she'd shut it down. From then on, proving that her HOA's authority beat out property law was Brenda's personal mission. She came daily, took photos, left warning notes, accused me of noise violations, even when it was just me and a handsaw. Letters threatening fines landed on my truck didn't mean a thing. I wasn't even part of her HOA. By the time police arrived, this was no longer about rules. It was about control. Officer Davidson finally closed my folder, his face shifting. "Ma'am, according to these records, this property belongs to him. Not Maplewood Estates." "That's impossible," Brenda fired back. "The HOA owns all lake access. We've used that beach for 20 years. Using something doesn't mean you own it," he replied. I opened the survey map across his hood. My grandfather bought this in 1952 Riverbend to mile marker 12. That includes the beach, the trail, the boat launch your folks have been using. Brenda paled. One officer let out a low whistle. Another hid a smile. "But we maintained that beach," Brenda tried. "Picnic tables on my property, never asked," I said. Officer Davidson handed my folder back. "Sir, would you like to press charges?" "This is ongoing trespassing." Brenda looked like she might drop. "Not today," I told him. "But I'll be putting up boundary markers. Next time it's prosecution." Brenda's voice jumped. "You can't do this. Our property values depend on that beach. Should have checked the deeds first." I shrugged. The officers warned her about filing a false police report and left. Brenda just stood gripping her clipboard, frozen, like she could rewrite the world if she held it tight enough. That night my phone wouldn't stop ringing, board members, residents, everyone suddenly interested in shared access. By sundown, rumor turned me from the cabin guy into some secret land baron. Next morning, a crowd of residents showed up. No yelling, just nervous. A man in khakis introduced himself, Jack Sullivan, vice president of the HOA. "We'd like to talk." "There's nothing to discuss," I said, going back to work. "It's my land." Jack sighed, glanced at Brenda, who was silent for once. "We understand now. That board meeting didn't go well for her. And that's just the start." He seemed like he wanted to say more, but didn't. They left. For the first time since I'd started building, the land was quiet. That peace lasted about 12 hours. By noon, the calls started again. Numbers I didn't know, messages some polite, some angry. Decades of using my land like a public park were over, and folks were rattled. One voicemail stuck. "We have a right to that lake access. My kids grew up there. You can't just take it away." I deleted it. That afternoon, I put up the first boundary markers, bright orange stakes, clear signs, no trespassing. I placed them by the survey. No guessing. Within an hour, Brenda rolled up Mercedes, idling, marching over like she was late for court. "You're escalating this." "No," I said, just setting it straight. She waved at the water. "That beach belongs to the community. It never did." Her voice dropped. "We will fight this." "You already did. You lost." That night I slept in my truck. Something told me Brenda wouldn't walk away. People like her don't. Next morning, Jack called. "The board recognizes your ownership. We're telling everyone to stay off your land." "That's good." He hesitated. "Brenda's not taking it well." I chuckled, figured. 3 days later, fence materials arrived. Metal posts, wire panels, nothing fancy, just a clear line. I worked dawn to dusk, every clang echoing Grandpa's steps. Brenda stayed away until night. At 2 a.m., my phone buzzed motion alert from my trail camera. I checked the feed and froze. Brenda headlights blazing Mercedes idling out there yanking at a fence panel. Didn't budge. She got in her car. Floored, it slammed the fence, dragged 50 feet before her car slid right into the ditch. I recorded it all. By the time I got out there, police were already on scene. Same officer, different expression. Brenda, arms wrapped around herself, yelling about provocation. Davidson looked at me. "Would you like to press charges?" "Yes." The case flew: trespassing, vandalism, false report. In court, Brenda claimed she was protecting the neighborhood. Judge didn't flinch. "No, ma'am, you're protecting your ego." The gavel fell: fines, restitution, restraining order. Brenda's record marked forever. She looked smaller, leaving that courthouse shrunk, exposed. I finished the fence a week later. The lake looked the same, still patient, like it had waited for someone to finally care about what was real. For the first time, the place felt like mine, not just on paper. But the last move from Maplewood Estates was silence. Weeks passed, no golf carts, no walkers, no kids at the water. The fence stayed untouched. The only sound was wind, birds, water. That told me everything. People weren't just angry, they were shaken. Not at me, at the truth. They'd followed Brenda, her rules, never checked if those rules were built on anything but confidence. Jack stopped by alone one afternoon, no clipboard, just him. "We owe you an apology as a board, as neighbors." I nodded, kept working. He watched the water. Brenda ran the place like her own kingdom. Most of us never questioned it. "That's usually how it goes," I said. He sighed. "We're redoing everything, record surveys, dropping lake access from the brochures." I looked up. Smart. Before leaving, he turned back. "She'd used your land for events, fireworks, picnics, 20 years. Signed off herself. Never checked the deed." I smiled. 20 years of trespassing doesn't turn into ownership just because no one said no. Jack nodded. Lesson learned. Word spread. The local paper picked up the story, no names, just the facts. HOA president removed for false report, years of illegal land use. People stopped me in town, some laughing, some sharing HOA war stories. Brenda vanished, moved somewhere stricter, I heard. No more leadership, no more clipboard power. After that, the cabin came together, slow, solid, honest, the way Grandpa would have liked. One evening I sat on the deck, sun falling behind the trees, fence casting long shadows. The lake reflected the sky as if nothing bad had ever happened. That land waited decades for someone to claim it the right way, not with threats, just with truth. Now it finally had peace. There's a truth I learned: land isn't truly yours because your name is on a deed. It's yours when you stand up for it, when you don't let rules and noise override what's right. Sometimes you need a fence, sometimes a courtroom, sometimes just a stubborn refusal to be pushed out of your own story. That's the lesson for me. Rules matter, but so does respect for the land, for the truth, for the line between what's yours and what isn't. Power's just noise until someone stands up. So where do you draw the line? When does standing your ground become revenge? And when is it just justice? Ever had to defend what's yours or face off with someone who tried to rewrite the rules? Drop your story below. I want to hear it. Let's see where you stand.